I became very involved in the Chaplet of Divine Mercy when a religious sister introduced it to me, who is a contemplative sister of the Precious Blood. This is an order of contemplative nuns originally founded in Canada. And also when a woman in my parish who's of Polish descent said, I really think this is something that you're called to learn. And I had it for a while and didn't pray it because when I first began to go through this conversion, I didn't have much edge of discernment. And so when things came to me that were new that I was not familiar with, I was not quick to examine them. I just let them sit for a while. Well, I've had the experience of having, in what is my opinion, and I'll leave it up to you to discern whether you agree with me, a number of miracles associated with the prayer of the Chaplet of Divine Mercy. And I'm going to tell you now tonight very briefly about 4 of these miracles. The other ones I don't think are maybe the kinds that should be, maybe they're something more of a private nature. The first 2 I'll tell you about are very simple, and they have to do with the desire of a parent to see their child succeed in an athletic contest. The first story is about my nephew, Christopher McCarthy, who plays for the University of Notre Dame football, and he's what's called a walk-on, or a non-scholarship volunteer player. And his father was very concerned that he would be able to stay on the team and get into a game and play and so forth. And I said to him, you know, to me, David, my brother David's 4 years younger than I am, David, I said, you know, this is very trivial. But I said, you know, I will pray for this, for your son, if you, as a sign to you of the power of Eucharistic adoration and of this devotion of divine mercy. So and the reason I said this is because his son was scheduled to go to a meeting, and all of his other teammates who had gone to this meeting had been very charitably and politely kicked off the team for lack of prowess. So on a Saturday afternoon, which by coincidence the University of Notre Dame was not playing that afternoon, I was in my office and I said, I made a commitment to this, so I'll do this. So I went out to what we call the Divine Mercy Adoration Chapel, which is a 24-hour day perpetual adoration chapel, our first in Indianapolis. And I went out there and I followed this teaching or revelation of very closely of Maria Faustina. In this revelation, Maria Faustina was told by Jesus that he would like to be remembered as dying at 3 o'clock, and that souls could step into the tabernacle and say a short prayer, a very short prayer, in memory of his passion at 3 o'clock, and if they said it in faith, he would grant anything. He also said for anyone who prays the Chaplet of Divine Mercy any time of the day, that this prayer would yield miracles, astounding miracles in effect, and anything they prayed for would be granted. I also believe that if you answer the gospel call to wait and watch with Jesus for 1 hour, exposed in the monstrance, and you don't ask him for anything for an hour, then you can ask him, and your prayer is more likely to be granted. So my practice has been in my prayer ministry to kind of pile on. What I do is I go at about 1:55 in the afternoon, and I wait and watch sincerely with Jesus for 1 hour. I don't ask for anything. I say prayers of love, adoration, praise, thanksgiving, and reparation. And then about 3 o'clock high, I begin a Chaplet of Divine Mercy, which memorializes his death at 3 o'clock, and which also says the Chaplet. Well, I did this day, and I said, Jesus is a sign to my brother. Let's say that Christopher doesn't get kicked off the team. Let's say he stays on the team, and not only that, even though he's never played in a game, he gets in a game within 7 days exactly, within 168 hours, the hours of adoration. And then, like I always do, I forgot the prayer. And I hadn't heard anything for a whole week, and I had to go to a meeting, and I had tickets to the Notre Dame game the next week, which I didn't even remember I had the tickets when I said the prayer. So I took a guy from my Christ Renews Parish group in my parish, and we went up to the game. It was the only Notre Dame game I was ever late for, but this guy really wanted to go, so the other person who was supposed to go with me got sick and couldn't go, so I went on up. We were sitting there, and we got towards the end of the game, and I remarked that, wasn't it sad that they had not only kicked my nephew off the team, but someone with his number had come into the game to kick the extra point. I said, they've actually reassigned his jersey all in, a week's time. Now, mind you, I'd forgotten about the prayers, I said. I mean, I knew I prayed for it, but I wasn't overly serious about it. I prayed with great faith, and I prayed if it was the will of God, my nephew would continue on the team, but then I just forgot about it. And I assumed he was kicked off the team because I hadn't heard anything from my family. So it was on national television, and they didn't even know the name of the person who kicked the extra point. So he got this player got this 1 point, and then the same player came back for the kickoff, and at that time they gave his name as Christopher McCarthy. And I looked at my watch, and it was 6 days, 23 hours, and 57 minutes since I had asked Jesus to see that he got 1 point within a week.